considering who the kids are, where they were at when they came in the fall. So some of those benchmark students were probably on the lower end of benchmark, and they didn't make appreciable enough gains in order to stay benchmark, so they slid into the strategic range. Similarly, for the strategic kids who moved to intensive, we would want to identify who those kids are and look at what their rate of growth was, and then determine what we are going to do in order to support them further to move them back in the right direction. And then talk about what it is as a grade level, or as a 5th grade teacher in your own classroom, what it is you can do to maintain the kids at benchmark and move the strategic kids up to benchmark. So those, whatever we're going to do in those types of systems to support those kids staying at benchmark or moving out of strategic and into benchmark, because the intensive students we're treating with specific programming already.
So we need to cover 2 things today. The first thing that we need to address is with the teacher, what's happening during core to support the grade level and the strategic students. And then dial down onto our intensive kids and seeing if the program that they are currently in is appropriate and if it's working.
Yeah. Okay. So then can we go to Troy's class and look at him specifically?
All right, so when we look at Troy's 5th grade class, at the beginning of the year, he had 10 students that were at benchmark, which equates to 38%. Of those 10 students at middle of the year, all 10 of them stayed at benchmark.
Great,
So
Troy.
Good job, Troy. I think you did an excellent job of maintaining those students. And that's the area that we want to make sure that stays green. Of your strategic students, which was 11 of them, and that equates to 42%, one of them moved up to benchmark.
In terms of goal setting, I'm assuming you have an idea of who your strategic kids are. And so I'm just wondering, what do you believe is the likelihood of being able to accelerate those 9 kids, or some of those 9 kids, and get them up to benchmark by the end of year to kind of expand that 42% to something greater?
At least half of them, it can easily be done just with more practice and more reading. It goes back to them doing their homework that they're assigned, reading each night, and just getting to work on their fluency and their comprehension. The other half of them, they're going to need the interventions that are being offered to most of them right now. They need that more intensive help and extra practice.
So those lower strategic kiddos, they're probably closer to the intensive, what would be the intensive cut then, closer to the benchmark cut? The kids you're concerned about?
Numbers wise?
No, the kids you're concerned about are closer in terms of skills to an intensive level of instructional need versus that upper end of strategic moving into the benchmark level of instructional need?
They're definitely on the lower end of the needing strategic support.
Okay.
So we're looking at targeting 4 or 5 kids from that group.
From that group.
More intensive.
Yes.
Let's take a look.